Okay, guys, back at the 10EE. So today we're going to be working on getting this compound disassembled and getting it ready to clean up. So let's tear into this thing. Got to get smaller drills. I don't have a spanner wrench for this size. Tapping. Let's move on to this guy right here. So the thicker head is on the back. Oh, they're both the same. Both these screws are the same. Okay. Really dry. Okay, guys. So what I did was I just tapped out the gib, gave this a couple taps with the dead blow, and got that apart, and then pulled out the bronze or brass nut. So I will start cleaning this up, just soaking in some purple cleaner for a bit, get the worst of the grease off. Then I'll soak it in a little bit of probably evapor rust, see what we can get off, and then kind of do the steel wool or brass wool and see if we can't polish this thing up a bit. Okay, I'll bring it back after I get it cleaned up. Okay, guys, so I thought I'd give you the sort of blow-by-blow on this compound. So these are the bits after I took it out of the ultrasonic with purple cleaner, and I did hit it with a little bit of Scotch-Brite, so I wanted to give you the difference. So here, I didn't hit it with any Scotch-Brite, and here I did. So just took some of this purple stuff, or maroon Scotch-Brite. I did not Scotch-Brite this. I just kind of wiped this thing down with some paper towels. There's definitely wear on this. It's not terrible, but there's wear on it. This right here. So in other words, on that part, the upper part, I don't see any scraping, but on this, there is scraping marks kind of throughout the entire surface. There's a couple of kind of scratches through here, which I don't think are going to be problematic. But this cleaned up pretty good. Then these other pieces, they all look pretty nice. They got a little bit of rust on here that I'm going to take off. I don't know if it's rust or kind of old grease. I don't know, but I'll keep going on this. So the next step after this is a little bit of just hand scrubbing, cleaning, and then rinsing off. And the next, when I bring it back next, I'll have this stuff all cleaned up. You know, I was also talking to myself about, should I just run the top of this thing through the surface grinder? I don't think so. I'm not going to get that out. That's too deep. It's in pretty good shape otherwise. So I might just, you know, scrub it up a bit, stone it, make sure that I can feel there's a couple little bumps here and there, and I'll stone those off. But I think we should be good just cleaning it up. You probably can tell by now I'm just jonesing to use that surface grinder on this in some way, but we'll see. All right, I'll bring you back when I get this stuff all cleaned up. Okay, guys, I've got all the bits to the compound all cleaned up and ready to be reassembled. You see the flat bearings, the give adjustment screws, the nut, a bunch of other stuff. And yep, I couldn't help myself. I did run the compound through the surface grinder. So what I did was I just did the top and the sides, got the bulk of the nicks and stuff off of there. And this one nick I couldn't get out. There was a reason why I did it. So I put this on my surface plate, and I ran my indicator across here, and there was I'm going to say probably 1.5 thou of dip right here where the tool post goes. So what I wanted to do was get this all trued up so that it's completely flat. So no matter where I put the tool post holder, I've got a good solid reference there. And so there's the base and there's the gib. So we'll get started putting this together. All right, guys, let's get this compound back together. So I'm going to throw it together in no particular order. Just let's see what we can get together here. So I'm using whey oil on the assembly process. For that nut right there, so I'm using a couple drill bits, 1/8 inch drill bits, and we'll just get this in between here. If you get it down pretty low, I don't think it'll snap the drill bits off. Okay, and I don't think it needs to be like insanely tight. Okay. I might have to loosen that and square that nut up, you know, once I get the top piece on. I'm gonna move you a little bit there. Maybe that's a better spot. Okay, so what I'm gonna have to do too is in here there was a little brass, you know, like bushing that transfers the force of this locking screw down to there, and somewhere along the way I lost it. So now I do think that I have to have this in where it needs to be before I install it, because I don't think I'm going to be able to make the full swing on this thing. So I'm gonna have to go look for that part again or find it. So let's see what I can do. I'll bring you back. Ladies and gentlemen, I found it. It was nowhere near where I was polishing this part when I lost it. So it came out and it rolled. So thankfully, we were able to find it. Normally I enlist one of my daughters to do that because they have eagle eyes and they can find all the stuff that I lose. Okay, so this is one of those things where I'm going to time it, I guess is the word we want to use. So let's see if I experiment a little bit. Will this be a good position? I think so. It looks pretty good. All right, let's tap that sucker on there. Yep, that's what we wanted. Okay. All right, we'll get this fellow on here. And then this guy. And again, the same issue, I do not have that spanner. My guess is that the woodruff key is probably not seated in there fully, and this is pushing it together. So I'm not sure what's happening here. So if you notice I have that gap there, tells me that this is not seated fully on there. So let me tear into this and figure out what's going on. All right, guys, I got it. It was just not seated all the way in. I, was overthinking it. It just was a simple. Just had to get it tightened down. All right, so that really seems to have been pretty nice. So I'm gonna see what I have for Backlash. All right, so I don't know if you guys can see that. Let's see if we can move in over here a little bit closer. All right, so it looks to me $16 thousandths or so. It's 10, 15, 16, 16 thousandths. I'm going to check on my other lathe real quick. So the other lathe is 4 thousandths. So obviously either the screw is worn or the nut is worn. So I'm not going to worry about it right now. I probably at some point will look into replacing, maybe try the nut first, see how much that improves it. It's not that difficult to take apart, and then from there I'll go to the screw if necessary. So yeah, I'd like it to be a little bit less, but right now it is what it is. All right, let's get it mounted onto the lathe. All right, guys, so I'm going to stick this compound on here. If you remember, I already put these fasteners up. They have to come up from underneath. If you miss that, then you have to disassemble this to get underneath. And there's a little plate that covers that. So just kind of glad to remember to do that. Yeah, it's kind of interesting because you'd think with that cutout, it would be, you'd be able to get the screw in and out of there, and you can't, or the bolt. All right, so let me go grab the compound and get that in there. All right. Okay. Just got to lift it up a little bit to get the nut started. want to drop that. Very valuable. Yeah, that's a little excessive. All right, let me go get a wrench. I'm going to just tighten that up a little bit. That's 9/16. Remember that this is the clamp for the taper attachment that I got from the viewer named Will, and I really appreciate it because it's a really nice piece. I believe it's a remake, and it's cast out of aluminum. We talked about that in a previous video. It's really nice. Okay. So what I'll probably do is I'll put a mag base with an indicator and just give this thing a little bit of, load back and forth to see if I have the gib tight where I need it to be. Feels pretty good. Actually feels great. Little stiff spot, not sure what that is. All right, let's go get that indicator. For now, I'll just use the thousandths indicator on it. When I get everything completely tweaked in, I'll go back and, I still got to work on that noise. So let's see. So I could be also looking at that. So what I'm going to do, I could be looking at this cross slide. So I'm going to change my position here so that I could see this relative to the cross slide. So that was a little oversight. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so I got nothing going on right there. It's be interesting to see what we got here. Just so you don't think that I'm messing around with you is all. So this face right there, I did true up with the surface grinder. So that's pretty darn good. Not seeing any movement at all. Yeah, tiniest little bit. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. Actually, I never checked to see what it is on the cross slide, so let's do that real quick. All right. Let's see if I can't get this thing. All right. Let's see if you can see that. So not terrible on the, you know, and again, I didn't do anything with that surface, so I don't know if it's good or not. So let's see if we can figure out what we have on the gib. So that looks like we have about 1 thou. So, I mean, I could tighten that up. I'm not gonna mess with it right now. You see that? Just under 1 thou. Pretty good. All right. So next after this is I'm gonna do the tailstock. Get that on there. I've already started doing like some of the filling and sanding and stuff on these panels. So I'll get those guys painted, and then that should wrap that up. And then I'm going to go through and mess with those gears again and see what's happening there. Other than that, I think we're just about good to go, and we'll do some first cuts on it. One of the things that I'm going to have to do is out of all these parts, and I was always really careful about making sure I didn't lose stuff, I did misplace one part, and I'll show you what that is. Excuse the hands, please. Okay, so over here, there's like a retainer for this felt. So I'll take you over to the other machine. I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so that's what that retainer looks like, and I can't find it anywhere. So I'm going to make another one, so maybe that'll be the first project for this lathe. We'll make that part, and I'll borrow the retainer from that other machine, and so I don't get any crud into the quill. All right, guys, thanks a million. Appreciate you watching. Guys, one other thing I wanted to show you. So I got the mag base clamped down on the saddle, and there we are at right there. So let me just show you what I have here. So this is cranked all the way in, and let's run it out through its full travel. And back in. Okay, so you saw there's absolutely no movement there. So that's really cool because I put this piece on my surface grinder. I stoned the mating surface of the ways down here. There was a couple like little bumps here and there, nothing major, and got it locked down on the mag chuck, and then took a little bit off. And you can see actually right here, there's very little, in fact, this is still just a touch higher than that. So I don't remember exactly how much I think I took just right around 1 thou off, because, or maybe 1.5 thou, because that's what I was having over here as an issue where the tool post goes. So that's pretty cool. I did record doing the surface grinding on here, and I don't know what happened to the video, but it's all just, you know, corrupted. I recorded that one on a GoPro, which this is being done on my Android phone. So I don't really know what happened to the GoPro. Maybe I had a corrupt SD card. I'm not really sure, but it kind of sucks. Although it was very uneventful. I just clamped it down, ran it back and forth, and just, you know, took 2 10,000ths at a pass, I believe, until I got all the chowder marks off of here. All right, guys, we'll get you back when I start on the tailstock.